you plan to fix the data gaps that have been created since the Obama 2008 campaign in state party-supported campaign tools such as Vote Builder? Specifically, what are the major improvements you'd make to Vote Builder and how it is used by the Democratic Party statewide?
Oh, Vote Builder. We love you, we hate you. But it's a very important tool. First, I just want to say that I've had a very close working relationship with Vote Builder. I was there when they first introduced it, and I sat down with some of their tech folks, and we kind of went through the contracts and went through the basics. I have a very close working relationship with the CEO, Stu Trevelyan of NGP Van, that runs Vote Builder. And when we've had some problems here in the last couple election cycles, it's nice to be able to pick up the phone and call Stu and say, Stu, you got to help Washington, and he's been responsive. So we've worked really hard to have a good working relationship with them. We're also considered a test ground. They turn to us a lot for what we think, and we share with them our ideas, and it makes a big difference. Vote Builder is only as strong as those two things. It's only as strong as the data it contains, and fundamentally it's only as strong as the people who use it, right? So I'm going to start with the second one of those. We have a training program, but we need to build on that dramatically. I know Patrick does a fantastic job, but I'm committed to doing at least congressional district trainings where we really focus on Vote Builder, at least at the basic level and at the advanced level, so that everybody is comfortable using it and that we can get some feedback on how we can improve things. Secondly, again, the project you guys did here in the 6th legislative district is a perfect example to support training people to build a much more robust system so that we're constantly on top of it, and it's not just something we come into every couple of election cycles, but it's constantly being reinvested in and built upon. We can take advantage of national resources, our connections at the national level, and our capacities here locally to have a really good Vote Builder, because that's how we're going to win. Thanks.
So I had the distinct privilege of using Vote Builder twice in 2 different campaigns, and also as chair of the Benton County Democrats. And I can tell you there's some serious issues with its accuracy. Some of those come from the fact that the county auditor's office is not always accurate because there's people moving away and not telling people they're moving away, and so there's just address differences that are problems. One of the things that we can do actually is stop scheduling our Vote Builder training at our meetings during other caucus meetings. You have to choose between taking Vote Builder training and going to a caucus that you might think you need to go. That's a big thing. Start scheduling that as its own time so that as many people as possible can go to it. 2, we need to make it an online resource so that we can have trainings online whenever you want. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you can't sleep, but you just remember that you didn't know how to use this one function, you can go online and learn how to use that one function. That's important. So people can access it. It's really nice, and I was the recipient of some of Valerie's training, and she does a really good job training Vote Builder. The problem is she's only able to come to communities once or twice, a year probably. If you specifically request her, she can come, but that's not good enough. We need to have more training than that. Like Jackson said, the information is only as good as that you get out as what you put in. So we need to have a better training on how to put that information in and how to use the program. It's a very busy program. It's very complicated. We might be able to maybe make it a little simpler user interface, but those are some of my ideas.
I was very surprised that Vote Builder became an issue in this campaign as I moved around the state. Terribly surprised, actually, because I utilized it in 2012 in a congressional race up in Snohomish County. And I believe that what Jay has said is true. It's only as good a lot of times as the data that we begin with from the county auditor. So we need to be consistently working with our county auditors as a state party, as local parties, to make sure the data that we receive is excellent. And as state party chair, I will work with you to make sure that that happens. I think that one of the things I've heard over and over again is that there is a disconnect between the information local parties put in and their ability to get it back out. I heard that when I sat down with the folks from the 6th District earlier in this campaign. And I think we need, it's 2014. We can solve that problem, and we need to just spend some time to meet together, I believe, with end users of this product and really have a big conversation, a conclave of people from the caucuses, from the campaigns, from the local parties, and from the activist level to figure out what some of those issues are and begin to tackle them one by one. Some may not be able to be solved, some can. I would say also that we need to do everything we can to give local, nonpartisan candidates access to Vote Builder whenever possible. And I think we need to really dig deep as a state party into figuring out exactly how we're going to be doing that, because I hear over and over and over that local candidates who've been endorsed by the Democratic Party need greater access to this incredibly important resource.
So our use of Vote Builder is critical to us winning elections in all 39 counties and 49 districts around the state. It's about us working smarter and more efficiently. And there's a number of things that we can do within the current system to not only improve the user interface, but to make your lives easier as activists. The state parties should be doing an inventory of all the current models in micro-targeting that's currently available in Vote Builder so that you actually know what is available. Different models, different activist codes might be useful to different districts. In addition to that, we need to do a good job validating our existing models. Models can become outdated, and we need to be updating those, and there are inexpensive ways of doing that on a yearly basis. In addition to that, I think that the state party can do a better job of pre-populating scripts that you can use, putting up virtual phone banks that local districts can engage in. And we absolutely need to do a better job with training on Vote Builder. We need a 2-track system, and it needs to be online. And yes, folks need to be available to go around the state as well. Those are just some of the things that we can employ to make the system better and to increase our efficiency in the work that we do.
Thank you. Brief question. How often?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We have one more. Sorry.
My math is on.
Yes. All right, Jay. You'll start us off with, how often will we see you in Spokane County?
Oh man, that's a T-ball. I'm sorry. I'm from Tri-Cities, so it's 2.5 hours that way. So I'm guessing you'll probably see me a lot because I got family up here, I got friends up here. I'm from here. I'm Eastern Washington. You're also going to see me a lot in Western Washington because anyone that knows me as far as my campaigns are concerned knows how many miles I put on my car. I think since 2009 I've put about 140,000 miles on my car traveling across the state. I am going to be your traveling chair and being to as many events and meetings as possible, if for no other reason than to let you know that your chair cares about your local organization and wants you to succeed and is listening to you to find out ways that we can work together to succeed together. Because make no mistake, if Spokane doesn't succeed, the state party does not succeed. If eventually we do not get rid of Kathy McMorris Rogers, we will not succeed as a party. If we don't eventually get rid of all of these very, very, very extremely conservative elected officials in Eastern Washington, our state will suffer. So I am dedicated to you. I'm dedicated to being here as often as possible. You will see a lot of me. Trust me.
I live in Thurston County in Olympia, and it's very close to Seattle. It's a quick commute. But I've said on this campaign a number of times, if I have to get into the car and drive somewhere as a commute to work, I would be just as inclined to get in my car and drive to Yakima, to Spokane, to Northwest Washington, to Southwest Washington. I have very much coalesced around the fact that I would like to be the chair who is out in the community and visiting the communities, figuring out what's going on in the communities. We have all learned so much on this campaign by coming to visit various communities around the state. We've got to continue that work, because if we as a state party chair are not visiting the folks who we represent and the people we work with, i.e. the state committee members, we're not doing our due diligence. And I've heard a lot from around the state that the party staff has not spent enough time in communities outside of Seattle. And I think that that's an important fact as you're considering this vote. You cannot continue to do the same thing and expect a different outcome. So be sure to think long and hard about how much you have seen the party staff and seen the chair. I will be the person who gets out a lot into the community, and I'm one of the very few. He and I are the only two that do not live in King County. So that's a first step.
Well, I may live in King County, but I come out here quite often because of Greater Spokane Progress and because I love it out here. And in terms of how often you'll see me, I think very often, considering we need to build the party from Spokane out. And I, in the course of this campaign, have traveled now over 2,500 miles. And I intend to work as hard as party chair as I have worked to earn your support and your votes throughout this campaign. I don't know how anyone can do the job of chair and not get out into the grassroots around the state. You just don't understand what people need and what needs to be done without talking to them and talking to them on their turf. And I will make a pledge and a specific commitment that at least twice a year I will travel around the state and have a set schedule of doing so. And certainly Spokane is high on that list, and obviously special requests or events outside of that. But I think the chair needs to have a plan for outreach. That's our job.
It's time to put my name tag on.
Yeah.
It says, hello, my name is not Dwight Pells.
Yeah.
I'm not Dwight Pells, right? I'm Jackson Ravens. And for the last 10 years, I and the other state party staff have been driving around this state 4 times a year and holding meetings in Wenatchee and Yakima, the Tri-Cities, and Spokane. And we get out there and we talk to people. And yes, we can and we will do more in terms of some concentrated trainings, but we've been out there and we care. A good example of that, just this last August, I'm on vacation, finally. I broke my ankle this summer and I was kind of screwed up, but in August I finally get a bit of a vacation. I decided